Pause Forever Young Summit today, Ameer Rosic, and he's actually on the call with me today from Canada. And I just want to tell you a little bit about him. In fact, I'm going to read it if you guys don't mind, because there's a lot to share. He is a best-selling author. He's also a registered holistic nutritionist, functional diagnostic practitioner, functional medicine practitioner as well, and the host of a very popular TV show called Shape Up with Ameer that you can find on Rogers TV. So I'm excited to have Ameer today. Thank you, Ameer, for joining us. Thank you for being in my hot seat today. How are you?
I'm good, Carrie. Thank you for having me on this amazing summit and giving me the opportunity to educate people on how to optimize their health.
Perfect. That's exactly what this summit was created for. Looking for your part of it. So, Ameer, tell us and tell myself what to this industry. I mean, the natural health is fun and exciting, but everyone's got a journey that leads them here. So, what's your story?
Yeah, that's a great question. My story is not a typical story, as I don't come back from a background of being sick. My he's coming up in his 80s. He's built like a brick house. That's how genetically gifted he is. He can eat the world's most. I call him a freak of nature, like the 1%er. I don't know how he did. My mother was a former gymnast, right? So they're both very people. And I was always blessed with good genetics. I eat the most garbage food you can think about, and nothing ever happened to me. And, I never gained weight. However, how I got into health world all started in my early teens. So I went into high school, and I never really fit in. I never really dug the educational system. I was sitting in class, always fidgety, and teachers always screaming, "Ameer, you don't pay attention in class." And I was like, all right, enough is enough. I pretty much got kicked out of 2 high schools, and eventually at the age of 16, I decided to run my own construction company, but at the same time do extracurricular activities. So criminal stuff, et cetera, getting my hands kind of dirty and sticky, because everyone older than me was telling me the only reason I need to go to school is to make money. Well, here I am, 16, 17, making a million times more than any human being around me. So I'm like, skip all that. Fast forward a couple years later, maybe I'm 17, 18, and that's when a huge depression hits my. I was partying hard, drinking alcohol, probably Friday, Saturday, also doing substance at the same time. But this cloud was following me, this dark, tarish, black ooze cloud of depression was following me everywhere I went. I viewed life in a very negative way. Anything I touched turned black. And I didn't know what was wrong with me. I was trying to fill this void, and that's what I was kind of self-medicating and doing whatever I can around me to my best of my ability to try to fill this gap. And something happened one night where I was at a bar. Obviously, I was just completely off my ass. And then something happened outside. I run outside, and I see somebody on top of my friend. Now, my former addiction, besides, partying, everything was fighting. I enjoyed it. It was a high for me, going boom, boom, boom. This time, someone was a friend. I jumped in. I did my thing. Next thing, it turns out, I'm getting arrested a couple of days later. But this is not the first time I got arrested. But something inside my gut said, this is serious trouble. Fast forward 2 years of Supreme Court of Canada, trials, etc., end up giving me half a year in jail. So here I am sitting in jail in my early 20s. I think I'm 22 at the time, give or take. So I'm sitting there looking around, and you got to picture jail. This is like a big concrete cage that you have no daylight, and everyone's in these orange jumpers, and the only thing that you have access to is this like 20-inch TV that makes everyone fight because the noise is just ridiculous. And I'm there pointing at everybody, and I'm like, what am I doing here? Like, what is this? Like, I shouldn't be here, I have this high ego mentality at the time. And eventually it kind of dawned on me, like 30 days in, that I was one of these. And I kid you not, Carrie, it came to a point that when I was in jail, I was staring at this black abyss. And I was looking at going down the left path of darkness or the right path of light. And I kid you not, I had that moment that I decided to take the right path. And it's funny because, there's a saying, an old proverb that says, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And I was blessed throughout the universe. Like right before I went to jail, I met my current girlfriend, stood by me the whole time. She just met me, and she stood by me. And like all these signs, these small signs around me were kind of like tapping me on my shoulder, saying, wake up, wake up, you're meant for greater things. So I got out of jail, and I wasn't eating Get Healthy, right? But I went back to the gym right away. I went to hibernation mode. I went to what I knew made me happy at the time. Luckily, at that moment, my boxing coach said, Amir, go check out this kettlebell seminar. I went in, that's how I got into kettlebells. But at that seminar was a book that kind of transformed my life, and that was Art Devani's book, The Evolutionary Diet. I read it, and for some reason, why, it just made sense to me to diet. I didn't have to think. I did it on the science. I was very green. I had no idea what this is. I literally adopted that diet the very next day. And I kid you not, in 30 days, my depression, my outlook, my energy, my spirituality transformed in a matter of 30 days. And I thought, holy cow, if this can happen in 30 days, can you imagine like for the rest of your life? So that I decided then and there I would roll back into school. So I did, register holistic nutrition, functional diagnostic nutrition, functional medicine, and I've been on educating people worldwide, motivating them about health, about well-being, about mindset, about spirituality. Because if I can take my life from there and transform in a very short time, it was literally 30 days, anyone can do it. So that's kind of where I come from.
That's the story. So you kind of do have I was at the bottom and this is how I found the light story. Kind of all been there at one point or another. Your bottom of the pit was a jail cell, unfortunately. But hey, if it gets you to where you need to go, that's all that matters, right?
Yeah, honestly, that wasn't the toughest for me was the self-medication before that, like drinking alcohol every weekend. Then with alcohol comes drugs, and then like the whole week your body is destroyed. Like my mind was melting, completely melting. I made a decision 4 years ago to never ever touch a substance in my life. I don't drink alcohol, do nothing. It doesn't vibe with me at all.
Right. It's actually a depressant, and people don't realize that and what it can do to your body. So you have this health plan. It's called Optimizing Your Health in 30 Days. How can you educate our audience on what that is exactly?
Yeah, so in 30 days, sky's the limit how you can transform your life in every aspect possible. Now, when people think about nutrition, they first jump on the food bandwagon, meaning what foods I got to add. When they should pause and say what to track. But before even think foods, one has to think about mindset. One has to mentally prepare, his or herself for that task at hand. That being said, one of my first things I do is I first want people to accept the onus and the responsibility about what they're about to do. That's very, very important. You can't just say, oh, I'm going to eat it and that's it. No, you have to be willing to sacrifice your luxuries that you have at the time. So my first tip, preparing yourself, giving yourself affirmations every day. I will eat healthy. I will become the best version of myself. Once you do the affirmations, I have a second stage that kind of combines environmental cues, it combines mindset, because a lot of people, they talk about willpower. Willpower is very hard to control, right? We have external triggers. For example, if you're a non-smoker, you just quit smoking, and your friends are smoking around you, it's almost impossible to know. Because, the smell, the triggers, your brain is so addictive, right? So if you're trying to eat healthy, the second place you should start after the mindset is clean kitchen. So you can't have the foods in your house. So what am I talking about? Processed foods, the processed cans, the microwave foods, the eggs, the sugar, any of that sorts, you have to get it out. I tell people you have to do a spring clean whole kitchen or your whole house. Because I don't care who you are, if you're just coming, into a whole foods diet and you've been relying on cookies and sugar and you still have that in your house, oh man, that's it. You're gonna crumble and you're gonna eat that. So you have to eliminate all the external mental triggers in your mind. So that's the second step. Once you achieve that, that is very, very important. On the person. For example, myself, I eat a paleo type of ketogenic diet. Some person may eat a vegan diet. Another person may eat a vegetarian diet. There's many different diets. Let's just summarize it to a whole food diet with everybody. So now diet. Super important. Biggest mistake a lot is don't prepare ahead of time. It's excessive foods. Like, oh, too lazy not to go shopping. It's much easier. So you have to spend time proper shipping, going to your farmers, going to organic stores, or going to co-ops, and locate your fridge is full. You don't have to worry that, oh my God, I'm going to run out, and these restaurants, external triggers, your negative thought or negative emotion in your mind. So that's extremely important that everybody must go out there and source their, have it available at hand on a 1 week.
Sorry, thing pop up. Preparation is everything. You get lazy. We want everything right now. Instant gratification is generally how we think, and we just created that. So I think we've just gotten lazy. What is your suggestion? I live in the desert, so farmers markets are rare and far and few between. And being from Ontario, that in the wintertime it's even harder to find that. So, any suggestions changing diet around seeds, for example?
Yeah, I'm a huge proponent of nutritional dieting. So another great thing you can do to optimize your biochemistry is eat local as much as possible. It's more nutritionally dense, and two, you support your local economy. It's a win-win. And I'll give an example in the summertime in Ontario. Now, in Niagara Falls, there's a lot of apple farms. So you get an apple from Niagara Falls, and it's organic, or you get an apple from Costa Rica, it's organic. They're both healthy, but what do you think is healthier? The apple that took 50 kilometers to get to my apple that took 35 days from Costa Rica. Not to mention the economical difference it makes. Supporting my local farmers, my economy, and putting my countrymen. Okay, that's super, super important, right? Going back to our roots and supporting each other as a community, okay? So going back to the question about seasonal eating, it's tremendously huge. It doesn't matter where you live. If you do your work, and if you, for example, use Google, we have Dr. Google that has a lot of information for us, right? You can find local farms in your area that will provide seasonal foods. In Toronto, I'm not too sure if every city has this, but we had something like a company that you can order organic foods from local farms, and they deliver to your front door once a week. There's no contracts necessary. They list all the vegetables and everything they have on the website. You just go in there, it's like, I want that. Here's my address. Here's my credit card. And just give them instructions. Leave the big brown box in front of my door. So they have that option. Even though you're organic, I'm not the biggest Nazi when it comes to organic foods. It all depends on their financial budget as well, is buy local produce. So if you're from Canada in the wintertime, there's Canadian broccoli, there's other Canadian vegetables that you can buy. Obviously, you're going to wash it. That way you're saving and you're sourcing loads, right? So there are options out there. It just goes back to the whole thing of you have to prepare. You can't just nilly-willy think about, it's just going to happen. It's like going to the gym. You're not going to train for like an Olympic sport without a plan, right? You need a plan, and focusing your efforts on making relationships with organic food stores or with co-ops, it's huge. Like pay tenfold in the future.
I couldn't agree more. 100%. That's the parts I do miss about living in Michigan. We did have a lot of farms around us. I grew up in the cherry capital of the world, so I lived off the cherries.
Yeah, nice.
Nothing wrong with that. That leads me to some more questions, and kind of back to your story a little bit about the dark cloud in the vision. How does that affect? I hate that we're taking medications for depression. I hate that there's so much cloudiness around that. Kind of go into some detail where you think diet has a lot.
Everything in my life, it transformed me. And depression has chemical signatures in the body. Not everyone's the same. So when people have depression, you have low vitamin D, you have low dopamine, low serotonin, low melatonin. Hormones and neurohormones and neurotransmitters are not functioning properly. Now, why aren't they functioning? Well, how do you make neurotransmitters? Well, you make it from gut bacteria. They are the giver of life. They are Mother Nature. That being said, you have to look at modern-day diet, which is the standard American diet. What is it full of? Processed sugars, high fructose corn syrup, preservatives, cancer-causing agents, etc., etc. The list goes on. All these elements are actually destroying your internal bacteria species, right? You're actually putting toxins in your body. These toxins, therefore, in the most simple way, is acidifying the bacteria and killing it. And therefore, that's why you have depression. Well, when I started adopting the paleo type of ketogenic diet, what did I eat? I started high quality fats, right? So omega-6, MCT oils, these are the buildings of your cells. I started eating good quality proteins, the amino acids that make protein synthesis. They help, rebuild all the hormonal cascades within your body. I started eating amazing vitamins and minerals you find in vegetables that are cofactors for all your DNA transcriptors. And then literally, like I said, in 30 days, that black that I felt for years and years vanished. Just like that, it disappeared. Mm-hmm. See people today trying to self-medicate, not self-medication from other doctors for, depression, etc. That's a big red alarm. You have to first look at your diet and your environmental cues, what you do. Meaning, now you have diet. How's your sleep? Are you exercising? Are you getting enough sun? If we try to give an analogy, something to compare to that is like, if I want to build a house, build a roof first. I'm going to build a foundation so the roof can stay on the foundation. Our body's the same. Your gut bacteria is the foundation of who you are. If you have unhealthy bacteria, your mind is unhealthy. It's no surprise that we're having a rampant rise in neurological disorders, a rampant rise in Alzheimer's. All these rising on a day-to-day basis, but yet the main media is not pointing at the real cause because it's an industry for money. It's a capitalistic industry that they make trillions of dollars on drugs, which is crazy with young youths every day. And I talk to them, I'm like, possibilities you can do in your life when you have a real whole foods diet, start transforming your sleep, start getting sun, start training properly, you can become what? The problem is a lot of people who gain financial gains from this are afraid of that truth. And that's the situation today. And I think, stuff like this, the summit, and this is the grassroots movement to spread the message globally.
I love your passion. I can identify it with so much. I have to scale it back sometimes in certain environments that aren't welcoming to knowing the truth. Some people aren't ready to hear it, unfortunately, all in the timing kind of thing. But yes, there's a money maker out there on the sick care that we have, and they don't want people to know this and ways to get away from medication. Bad, but nothing's more empowering than when you can actually heal and cure someone and help them move forward in life. That's why I'm here too. So love that you share the passion with me. Love it. We'll get on. So talk a little bit. Okay, I love the depression part. You mentioned a little bit, and there else too. I just want us to take one step back again, just for our audience sake, and the bacteria in your gut. And I know that if you're not familiar with good and bad bacteria, sometimes those that don't know think bacteria, that's bad. Isn't that what I take antibiotics for? I want that in my body.
So
go a little deeper with that.
That's bacteria, anaerobic and aerobic. And when we say bad bacteria, we're not necessarily saying your bacteria is bad. It's just you have different species inside your body, and they have to have proper ratios among these species. The problem is when you have dysbiosis. So dysbiosis means an unbalanced microorganism colony in your body. So if you have too much of anaerobic or maybe too little aerobic. So it's really about what's going on in there. And you mentioned antibiotics. Now antibiotics is like a new. I'm not antibiotics. They're really good for emergency. They do wonders. They save a lot of people's lives worldwide. But for like preventative medicine, they do more harm than good, because literally they're going down there, everything getting blown up, and that's not. That being said, for anybody out there, whether you have multiple sclerosis, you can talk to Dr. Terry Walls, who does wonders with her foundation, Terry Walls Foundation. Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's, IBS, Crohn's, all the diseases. There's a connection back to the gut, because let me reverse. Let me first paint a picture. I want people to comprehend the significance of gut bacteria. There is 100 trillion bacterial cells, like DNA cells, compared to 10 trillion human somatic. That's a ratio of 10 to 1. 10 gut bacteria cells to 1 human cell. They own us. As simple as that. They own us, right? Once you start respecting who they are in your body, the healthier you become. That's what you see like in cultures, or even today around the world, certain modern day cultures, they have a huge respect for fermented foods. So we're talking about like miso soup, sauerkraut, even these fermented foods by affinity of proper probiotics inside of them. And these fermented foods acts as food for your bacteria down there, and they love it. They feed it, they get happy, and once they get happy, you become happy. They start making better neurotransmitters, increases your testosterone, increases your hormones. You know, everything about you improves. And the state of functional medicine and integrated medicine these days is really on a rampant rise in a beneficial way because, you know, new technologies such like PCR stool analysis or the uBiome project, where we're actually screening and identifying the exact genetic culture of your bacteria. So we kind of get the guesswork. It's like, oh, Carrie, this is your species. Based on, you know, empirical evidence, we can see that XYZ species doesn't like this type of foods. So we can actually super identify the foods that your gut bacteria like. I think on the Earth, we need another like 5 years or so to data mine all the information. But that's an amazing new frontier. But yeah, gut bacteria species, or I should say your gut bacteria has to be the number one concern. And I don't care if you're eating a paleo, I get this a lot. Ameer, what is the best diet? You know, what's the best diet? I'm like, listen, any diet you adopt after a sad diet, you're healthier, right? So you have a sad diet, you're eating this crappy food, then you adopt a paleo diet, or you adopt a vegan diet, or a vegetarian diet, you're 100 times better. Because all those diets promote a whole diet. No sugar, you know, processed grains, commercial dairy, cut out high fructose corn syrup, cut that out. And then think about that. For 20, 30 years, you've been eating all these garbage foods. Then all of a sudden you start eating that food, your body's going to thank you like this, super fast. Amazing. You're going to be like, oh my God, where was this my whole life? I needed it, right? Mm-hmm. And you know, I bet you've seen it yourself. You've seen it around. Like people literally transform in front of your very own eyes by adopting a whole foods diet.
Yes. Mm-hmm. They do. They almost feel like, did I take a drug or what? I feel good. I sleep better. I have more energy. You know, even if I start them just a quick cleanse, just to kind of get that boost real quick, just to start them in the right direction that first week. But yeah, it's just nature's way of what it's supposed to feel like all along. It shouldn't. We've just kind of been living in a fog, unfortunately, and chemically induced fog, which is sad. So I have a lot of clients, and in fact, most of my clients are females. I'll let a few guys slip in there, but for the most part, it's women. If they wear a dress. No, I'm kidding. But our biggest, of course, my 40th birthday is 15th, and that's why I'm doing this to celebrate that. As hormones change and shift as we grow older, explain how diet really affects your hormones.
Let's first figure
people
out how
realize that.
hormones
They think they need to go to the doctor again and get all these
all your hormones are created
added
from cholesterol.
Hormones.
Then cholesterol gives birth to something called pregnenolone, which is, you know, if you think pregnant, like a pregnant woman, pregnenolone. So now you have the mother hormone, pregnenolone, which gives birth to your secondary master hormone called DHEA. DHEA now gives birth to other two hormones, testosterone and estrogen. That's just a simple hormonal pathway. Okay, what is cholesterol made of? You know, they're lipoproteins. Cholesterol is made out of healthy fats. So when you eat healthy fats, and what are healthy fats? Avocado, ghee, coconut oil, you know, grass-fed, you know, organ meats, you know, coconut butter, even raw unpasteurized dairy products, sometimes cheese even, or even milk for people that can handle that raw unpasteurized. The more high quality fats that you eat in your diet, the healthier cholesterol level. And It's not the number. The numbers play a role in cholesterol a little bit, but what's important is the particle size. You have dense and you have cholesterol. And the problem is when they're looking at LDL, they're just looking at the number. In fact, you have LDL dense and LDL fluffy. So when you have healthy levels of fat in your body, good quality fats, you actually decrease the dense particle LDL that causes arteriosclerosis, and you increase that marshmallow fluffy LDL, which bounces off your walls, which is really good, and it helps you create pregnenolone, helps you create DHEA, testosterone, and estrogen. The problem today is a lot of people are fat phobic, super fat phobic. Oh my God, it's going to make me fat. The only time I'm going to agree with them there is if you're eating like industrial seed oil trans fats. That stuff is going to kill you, not just make you fat, probably give you cancer or something like that. You better quit it right away. What I'm talking about is quality fats. So people heard about them, omega-3, omega-6, MCT oil. All these fats are really good for your biochemistry. And the more quality fats you eat, they're anti-inflammatory, they make healthier cholesterol, they increase testosterone, increase estrogen. Win-win situation. But the moral of the story is you got to go out there and start eating these fats on a daily basis. That's right.
Big myth, big diet myth. Fat does not make you fat. I love the big licorice stickers on the outside of candy, fat free, and everyone thinks, oh, it's fat free. Here, have some. Yeah, no thanks. I love. Speaking of,
It's
kind
all,
of goes to the
it's all
media.
about the
Don't
money.
you love
Like,
what
you
they
have to
do
ask
with food
yourself,
labels and
what do
tricking the
they
heck out
gain?
of people,
Okay?
confusing and twisting
Like
their diets?
sugar is very for them to process, and the return, the ROI on that is huge. Not to mention more kind of like esoteric negative side of things, which is like sugar actually makes you stupid. To summarize, it really does. Like there's studies out there shows your IQ. It's no joke. I know people that study with sugar versus cocaine. The sugar's more addicted to cocaine. So there's a whole different this thing. Forget about being sick. I'm talking about making you dumb. And if you're dumb, you don't use your thing for yourself. So whatever, Big Brother is telling you, oh yeah, our new healthcare system is good. Oh, by the way, eat that. Oh no, you don't have to worry about your taxes. We got you covered. Oh, what? I don't think so. So there's a huge manipulation going on with what's happening today, and I'm happy to say a lot of people are up, even countries, such as Iceland are waking up, and I think it was Norway or was it Switzerland that they actually now adopted the official diet is a high-fat diet. I forget exactly one of those countries up there, Scandinavian countries, which is amazing. They actually adopted, a low-carb, high-fat diet. I'll give them a round of applause. But over here in North America, there are some differences between Canada and the United States, but we're still on that crazy coaster of just nodding our heads and accepting what they're saying. And I tell anybody this. I used to take the public transit a lot. I didn't want to drive downtown. It was too much of a headache. And you hear this crazy, taboo-ish thing going around on the internet. People talk about a zombie apocalypse, that's some crazy stuff. I'm like, what are you guys talking about? It's over here. Go take a ride on your public transit and look at people. Dark eyes, dark circles underneath eyes. Their skin is falling apart, wrinkles everywhere. They look like the Walking Dead. It's crazy. I'm like, that's living? You're 40 years old. You look like you're 90 and you can barely walk, and that's the majority of the population. It's crazy, and it frustrates me. It comes to a point that sometimes you have to use common sense as well. Does that even make sense? What's going on in you? And it's not, and it is frustrating. And I'll give you another stat that's kind of scary, and hopefully we can change this in the years coming up. Suppose every single North American right now is on one form or another of a pharmaceutical agent. And I mean that includes Tylenol, Advil, any of this, etc. Every single person, Canada has 37 million. The United States has 350 million officially, I guess. So that's a lot of people on pharmaceutical drugs. And I just think to myself, can you imagine if 5% of the population started eating healthy, right now, not for the people already currently eating, an additional 5%, how much more better our culture would be? Less burden on the educational systems, less burden on the medical systems, less burden on the whole economic status of countries and the cultural status of the country. If, in fact, everything would exponentially improve. And hopefully we get there one. Mm-hmm.
Yes, but preach it. Sure. I think I'm one of those people that don't have a medicine cabinet. I think Band-Aids in there for my 9-year-old, Barbie Band-Aids. That's so. That's about all. I'm that friend that people come over and go, "Don't you have anything?" No, I don't need it. So when you take care of yourself, there's less need for that sort of. I want to talk about, you're talking about the aging factor, which of course is a part of the big that I have gathered with experts. Aging, unfortunately, most of us like to try to paint the side of the building as much as possible versus working on the structure again, like the foundation you mentioned before.
So one way
So how
first
can
you
we
can find out your
help
biological age
eliminate,
is
not
via
eliminate, but at
telomeres
least
testing. So these are
dull
the
the
strands
aging
at the end of your
process through our
DNA.
diet?
So you have
Any
telomeres and you have
suggestions on that?
telomerase, which is the enzyme that controls the rate of the telomeres breaking apart. One way that you can actually first find your biological cell age of your DNA. That being said, you got to look at how does aging happen? There's different mechanisms. The first mechanism that I focus on is sleep, a proper circadian rhythm. Sleep controls how your hormones fluctuate on a day-to-day basis. They control all your antioxidants, specifically the master one, glutathione, controls how your body actually fluctuates towards environmental stimuli. It's very important. And the problem today is we're sleeping average 6 hours when we should be sleeping anywhere from 10 to 12. And we went 10 to 12 not too long ago, like 1946, around World War II. Unfortunately, today we have, the advent of technology, modern day lights, which are carcinogenic, and people are staying up till 1 a.m., waking up at 5 a.m., going to work at 6 a.m., and they repeat this. And it's no wonder their hormones are low. The cortisol is going all over the place, slowing their other hormones and causing aging. So one of my best tips is a free tip. There's no ifs or buts. Like, if you think, I don't care who you are, I'm sorry, if you think you can have 4 hours of sleep for the rest of your life, in tip-top shape, and think you're going to age gracefully, I'm going to burst your bubble right now. That's not going to happen. You got to check yourself. Reality check out there. Okay? So that's, no, moms are okay. Moms are beautiful. They sacrifice for their child.
So all those new moms there with infants, we're so
sorry. And there's no reason why now the father can't take some of the load as well. So it's not just one or the other. It's two people, right?
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes, it does.
So, yeah, that's right. That's right. Exactly. Cha-ching. More sleep, the better.
Right. Couldn't agree more. 10 to 12
so the next thing
hours,
is
I get to have 10
controlling your intake. And I'll tell you, I'll get geeky for a second here. Your mitochondria, which creates your ATP,
right.
it's your furnace of your body. ATP stands for adenosine triphosphate. It fuels everything. It's your core. Now, a byproduct of ATP production is something called ROS. It's a reactive oxygen species. It's a free radical, but it's good. It has a purpose. The problem is when you have sugar, trans fats, and all these chemical foods. And I'm still talking about if you eat a lot of carbs, like high amounts of carbs, that is still sugar, is actually going to increase ROS, and there's many, many studies showing this, is going to increase ROS in your body. And the higher ROS you have, the lower antioxidant you have, and your mitochondria starts awesome. And that's a huge connection with rapid aging. So that's why when you look at Alzheimer's and you look at the brain patterns between, say, gray matter and white matter, and if they adopt like a ketogenic diet, you see improvements. Because there's no sugar in the diet, the ketones, they don't need a shot for the blood-brain barrier, they go right by. In fact, it's been found that ketones can increase glutathione levels and improve your cellular health. So that's another great to minimize your sugar intake. And going back to one of the tips we said earlier, if you're in a 4-season climate, for example, anywhere north of the equator, there's changes in diet. You don't have the same diet from January to January. It's different. Later in the summertime and in the fall, that's harvest. Like, that's the most abundant food you have. You're going to have still a lot of fruits. You're going to have tubers. You're gorging because evolutionary speaking, wintertime, there's no food. You got to plump yourself up, right? But the problem today is we have access to a fridge. and we're eating, all these high carb foods, which are healthy, but you shouldn't really be eating them in the wintertime, and they're not really locally sourced as well. So if you can become like ketogenic for like even like 45 days out of the whole year, the benefits are endless, like ridiculously endless, or you can be like someone else, or I even do sometimes myself, you can be like cyclic ketogenic. You go in, you go out, you go in, you go out. But this whole ideology of constantly having elevated blood sugar, that's going to make you age fast.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, okay, let's think, we all know we should knock out sugar, and we probably don't realize how much is in our foods. That's the scary part. A little knowledge around that and education helps too. Just being a level of awareness, thinking consciously is how I coach my clients. How can it have been done? Fruits are okay. I'm thinking
Yeah,
our
so a
audience
lot of
thinking, well,
people
sugar's in everything.
who are
How do I
addicted to
eliminate
sugar are
all of
addicted
that?
through,
Everything's
the
white
dopamine
and
pathways, the
carbs and
GABA
refined. How do
pathways,
I,
through the
what should I
morphine
eat
receptors
instead?
in the
I guess
brain.
is a
So if you're
better,
eating
probably
bread,
shorter
it has a
list.
protein called gluteomorphine. The end part is morphine, right? It's literally as addictive as, quote unquote, a heroin. I wouldn't say agree, but it's activating the same receptors as if I do heroin. Okay, that's very important. Same thing with like
Right.
certain commercial cheeses or milk. It is very addictive. It activates the same morphine-like receptors in the brain. So you get this high.
Right.
Same thing. People who look at a
Right.
cell phone, they see the blue light. Someone texts me, I gotta go turn it on. Dopamine high, right? So you have that connection with the food. It's a neurological balance. How do you break that, right? How do you disrupt that connection? The answer is twofold system. Okay. Let's focus on quality
Right.
fats. So there's two hormones in your body that controls when you're hungry and when you're
Yes.
satiated. And that is leptin tells your body you had enough to eat. Ghrelin tells your body, hey, it's time to eat. And they're controlled by quality fats. And going back to what I said earlier, I'm talking about coconut oil, avocado, grass-fed meats, bone broth, which is like a super awesome food that's super affordable that everyone should be doing. Ghee. If you wear around with the depends. Myself, I'm really prone to it. I go with it, but like raw unpasteurized milk, raw unpasteurized cheeses. Those are healthy fats, and those fats will satiate you, and it's actually going to diminish your sugar hungers because your hormones are going to be rebalanced. The second thing that controls your sugar, and look at this, a study literally came out, I think around 70 days ago for this. Sleep controls how much sugar you're addicted to. So there's an enzyme in your saliva called amylase, which is responsible for carbs. So they did a study and they showed that people who are sleep deprived, and we are all sleep deprived in North America, have 2 to 3 times the levels of amylase in their saliva. 2 to 3 times the amounts in their saliva. So that amylase is sending signals to your brain, I need sugar. Why is it that around midnight, if you have cravings, you're not craving a steak, you're craving something sugary, right? Oh, I want that ice cream or that chocolate bar or something like that. But there's a secondary mechanism which hasn't been proven. It's one of my is why is your body craving sugars? Why is that in your mouth like 2 to 3
Always
times
ice cream
more?
or chocolate.
I think because when you start eating sugar, hypoglycemic episode, meaning blood sugar very high, boom, and then it'll go down and cause you to go to bed. Your body is trying to do its best to try to put you to sleep because you shouldn't be like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. staring at Facebook or whatever Twitter or games are throwing. I don't know, whatever TV's on, right? You shouldn't be that. And you wake up and you start binging on the worst foods possible. And those are really important tips. How to quit sugar cravings is start eating quality foods like the fats. The fats are get your sleep in order. These two simple tips can drastically transform your body, your neurochemistry very, very fast.
You feel so powerful when you don't crave sugar.
Yeah,
There was nothing but cupcakes around me all day yesterday. I'm good. I don't need one. And I've gotten to that point a long time ago. And every now and then you slip because Halloween shows up for holidays and you start eating that crap again. And I have a daughter that brings that into the house. So I'm all about don't sabotage your house too. And then you're like, dang it, I'm right back in that cycle again. But it's so true. It's so true. It's so powerful when you're like, yeah, I don't want it. It doesn't even look good to me. And that is a good place to be. So it's worth it. It's worth it for sure. I want to start to go a little bit more on motivation. And that's the last kind of to grab from you today. Health, I can't preach enough, is the foundation to everything you do. It helps your relationships. It helps your extend naturally quality of life, your business, how motivated you are to get out of bed every day. How has it helped you motivation wise, and how do you help your clients
the best
in
way
those regards?
For myself, I'll give you my routine.
No sugar. We don't want caffeine and sugar because that's what everybody thinks
right
we have to start their day
I go
with.
to my kitchen and I have my mitochondria.
What's a better way to start the day?
And it's quite
Get
simple.
yourself
It's literally
motivated and
a whole lemon or lime in filtered water. I'm gonna have some, Celtic or Himalayan sea salt in there. I'm gonna have some baking soda in there, maybe a small shot of apple cider vinegar, and just fill that baby up. Nice big glass of water. Usually it's about 2 water bottles, and I just chug back. That's how I start my day. Then I do journaling. So I do affirmations, and I have a beautiful journal called the 5-Minute Journal, created by my 2 good friends, Jay ran this, which is literally affirmations. I'm grateful for this. I want to accomplish this. What else I want to do. And this is a huge, powerful thing that has transformed my life, and I think everyone should be journaling. I will either sometimes I'll do intermittent fast. I'm training for a power lift, sometimes not. But the days that I'm doing like PRs, I'll have a bath. So a great way to actually rebalance your hormones, the circadian rhythms throughout the day, is something Jack Kruse talks about. It's called breakfast. So your breakfast is not necessarily breakfast, it's a meal. Don't think of breakfast as just eggs. It could be anything you want to be. Example, the other day I had, I think, a 20-ounce steak, like a porterhouse grass-fed steak, with a cup of bone broth on the side, with an avocado and some spinach. That was breakfast. And that fills me up to it fills me up for a while. Like, I do a lot of training. I'm very active, but more or less I have 2 meals a day. One like very late breakfast, very late afternoon.
So the next day,
if you're having, you have to eat every 2 hours or 3 hours. There's a blood sugar dysregulation. So there's a big problem. There are people who are very, clinically, hypoglycemic, that they have to do that on the initial phases. Then we slowly break that apart. Maybe from 5 meals to 4 to 3. Yes. 3 is good, right?
Yeah.
But you should stay at that. If you say, oh, I'm hungry. No, there's a big problem. Check yourself. There's a big problem if you're hungry every 3 hours, because if you look at how long food actually takes to leave your stomach, it takes a minimum of 3 hours to even leave your stomach to your digestive tract.
Right.
Minimum.
I agree.
And probably longer because it has low levels of hydrochloric acid. I think it's a lot of environmental triggers. Right. So if they're seeing around them as a habit loop in their brain, they're used to eating, every 3 hours.
Too emotional or hormonal
actually
triggers.
Trained their hormones to signal them to
actually doing that too.
And they get that high. Oh, I got to do this. We're habitual creatures. We love habits.
Yes.
So these old habits, you can't really break habits. You can suppress them. They always emerge. That's why you can see people who've quit smoking for 3-4 years, they start smoking again, because you can never destroy the neuronal pathway of that habit. You can suppress it by layering more beneficial habits. So that's why it's really important for the initial phases, when you want to start, living in a holistic, optimal life. You got to transform your habits and be kind of religious and kind of militant in the first 30 days, or else it's kind of going to. It's not like, oh, I'm going to do it here, I'm going to do it there. No, it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm. Right, absolutely. Got to create new ones, better ones.
Yeah,
sure.
So the best way to find me,
I want to
I'm offering
conclude
right now
with
a 7-week course, which is you're going to get
Where
my
should we
audio
go?
book.
You've
You're
got
going to get a special
9,000
PDF
subscribers
about why
on
weed is
YouTube.
bad. You're going
How
to
can
get
we
another
find you? What
PDF to
have
see
today?
bacterial imbalance in your body, and a lot of other special gifts. And the way to do that is go to www.ameerrosic.com. So that's AMEERROSIC.com, and you'll see a nice banner on the right-hand side. You can't miss it. And that's how you get an awesome gift.
I was checking it out earlier today. We'll have it in the body of this email and, of course, an interview. So it'll be a real easy path for everyone to find you quickly and easily. That's awesome. A great gift to give away, and it's going to help a lot of people. I don't know if I want to open up the can of worms and talk about wheat or not, but it's like, oh, I have a feeling we could talk for hours. I do. Yeah, let's just touch it for a second. You know, whole wheat, and then it went to whole grains, and now it's watch out for gluten. And you know, you evolve, kind of like and natural health changes all the time, just like medicine. I got to stay on top of it. And tell us about your thoughts on wheat and what it's done.
Now, let's look at the difference between the breads that our grandmother ate and the breads that we ate today. First of all, what we're eating today are transmutagenic wheat. Wheat traditionally was around 4 feet, very skinny, not too much yield. The wheat we have today is about 2 feet, 4 feet wide with yield. So you have GMO wheat, then you have transmutagenic, the two types of different ways of creating super wheat. Now the gluten in the wheat today, 400 times, 400 times the amount than other ate. Not to mention sugars and stuff like amylopectins, which is inside of wheat. Not to mention, much stronger herbicides and pesticides that people don't talk about. Not to mention that gluten, which is the protein which is used as a glue, is used in other, processed foods. So to compare the wheat today or the bread they're eating today to what my grandmother used to eat is different. I tell anybody, I'm like, you want to eat bread? Oh, okay. Go in the field. Well, let's rewind 100 years. Go in the field, collect, grind it, dry it, mill it, ferment it. It's a real creature, bacteria. You don't eat that bread in like 4 days, it's moldy on the kitchen table. Right? So what they're eating is much different than what we're eating today. Not to mention, they're eating much less amounts of it we're eating today. If you look at it, we're eating high processed whole wheat bread, cereal, sandwiches, bagel. Every single thing it's a bread type of meal. There's no other proteins, there's no fats, there's no vegetables, there's no fruit, there's nothing. So to kind of compare the two, it's a complete different world, right? We can't live in the past. We're not our grandmother. We don't live in their environment. They weren't exposed to the chemicals and EMFs and everything we're exposed today. They weren't exposed to the stresses. They weren't exposed to artificial life. So for them, it was probably some of them was beneficial, right? Subset of people in the world who have like HLA-DQ8 gene mark cardiac, who even back then, if they ate any type of gluten, all hell breaks loose. That's how their biochemistry is. They just can't handle it. But unfortunately today, it's not a real food anymore. Bottom line, it does not exist, and you should not eat it. And you don't have to take my word for it. Do an experimentation. Us, our own doctor, cut it out for 30 days, and you tell me how you feel. I guarantee you're going to feel like a million. You're going to come back and say, "Thank you, Carrie. Thank you, Ameer. This transformed my life." Yeah.
Yeah. Right. I know. Test and measure. Take it out. See what happens. So can't go wrong with that. Cool. I'm glad you covered that because that was kind of
simplicity is the key
I couldn't
to
just leave that sitting there on the
one of
table.
my late mentors said. And I know it kind of feels overwhelming to do
our
everything at
audience
once.
today
Like,
as
oh
we
my God,
conclude
I
today's
have
call.
to ditch this food, ditch that food, do journaling, go to bed, and your mind is racing. Like I can't comprehend. It's hard to do everything at once. Now, creating habits and creating a healthy, optimal life takes baby steps. It's not going to happen one gigantic leap. So I recommend everyone out there pick one thing and master that. So if you want to give up wheat, master that first. Then move along. because it's going to create many neurological habitual wins in your body, right? You're going to get a high from it. It's like, yeah, I crushed it 30 days, no, week, I feel great. That's going to be that catalyst, that match that sparks you with inside of you to continue on. Then you go, you spend 30 days optimizing and maximizing the sleep cycle. You crush that. And you go on and on and on. Then like a year later, you look back in hindsight, you're like, oh my God, I just everything, but it wasn't overwhelming, right? Mastery of a human body, mastery of oneself, mastery of the mindset, psychology, and spirituality takes years and years. There's an old saying, Rome was not overnight. To summarize everything, everybody out there listening, just don't feel overwhelmed and take it one day at a time.
I love how I work with my clients to master one thing at a time. Otherwise, they'll just give up because it's too overwhelming. They'll just kind of go in resistance mode and just cave in. Perfect, Ameer. This has been awesome. You've helped spark my brain here. I won't tell you how much sleep I had last night, but I'm afraid I'll get in trouble. But I've been doing interviews all day, and coach calls. I'm like on fire again, and it's 8:00 at night, and I can just keep going because it's just a really thing that I've learned and helped.